Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome to our real life collaboration event. We're so glad you're here with us to share our excitement. Today we're going to talk about real-time collaboration, and I'm Medad. I will be your host for the event. And joining me today, we have Peter, our CEO and co-founder. We have Gloria, the person who had been spearheading the real-time collaboration project from all along. From the design team, we have Sam and Nico. And lastly, we have Francesco, our design advocate. As you know, 2020 has been challenging for us. It's been challenging for everyone, really. And we have been trying to do our best to overcome these problems and adapt to so many different things, approach so many different things from so many different perspectives. And when we go and look back to the video that we shared late 2019 about all the features that we were going to ship in 2020, we can now, at the end of almost 2020, we can now look back and feel happy that we were able to overcome all these challenges and come to a full circle with this final feature. And we're more than happy to be here with you, and we're more than happy to be sharing this with you. I'm gonna just go over the agenda briefly. I will hand it over to Peter shortly, and then he will go over what Sketch has been up to in 2020 and how we came to where we are with real-time collaboration. And then we're gonna take a deep dive into collaboration with Gloria. She will be showing us inside out. And then we will have a fun little demo session. I think it's going to be very exciting and very engaging. And then we're going to go over to the Q&A. As you might remember, we sent out Q&A forms beforehand. And we wanted to get together all the questions and answer all the questions. We sat down and went over all your questions, and we tried to answer all of them. We're going to take some questions from the chat as well, but please keep in mind that we won't be able to answer all the questions. We won't have time to answer all the questions, but you can always feel free to reach out to us after the event. We will be more than happy to answer your questions. And without further ado, I will pass it on to Peter now and get this presentation going. To you, Peter.
So, hello everybody. Can you see my screen, Minette? Just confirming. Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you for the intro here. Thanks to everybody for joining us today on this stream. We have some very exciting things for you today, as Minette already talked about. I hope many of you joined us again from the last event. We've been on a pretty amazing streak this year, and it's nice to see it all come together. I think this is the third live event that we're doing in just as many months. Yeah, we've been busy, and first of all, I want to thank the team for pulling through this challenging year, and despite that, helping us ship all the features that we've been working on. And my slide doesn't want to go next. Yeah. Okay. First, like we shipped last month, we shipped our Big Sur update when Apple announced Big Sur in the WC in June. I believe we got pretty enthusiastic about the new redesign. We shipped it a couple of weeks ago, and we were pretty proud of the result here. The redesign, we published a very nice blog post about it. We did an event, but the redesign is only half the story. We also did compatibility with the new M1 chips. Sketch 70 is a universal binary, and it really syncs on the new hardware. I think these are really amazing times for native apps, and we can't wait to see what Apple does next with these chips. But whatever they will do, Sketch will be ready for it. Before that, with Sketch 69, we introduced color variables, one of the central building blocks for building a design system. And together with it, we introduced the components mode for organizing and editing all your components. Like there's such an important integral part of Sketch, it felt right to give them their own home. Together with that, we introduced the insert window to make inserting symbols easier than ever before. Like this, the same old menus still exist, but if you have a really large design system, then this dedicated window where you can search and just drag components in is really a great addition to Sketch. Earlier in the year, we introduced the developer handoff. It's a great way, if you've been working on our cloud platform, to share documents that way with the developers. They can just through the browser click on every element, inspect whichever layer they want, get colors out, grab the code, and so much more. It's a great way to it's a great way to get your document to someone else without any fear that they will be editing, making some accidental edits while they're trying to understand like how you build up your deeply nested symbols. We really built like a dedicated view that is really that really excels at getting these values out of your Sketch document. And we're really pleased with that. Also, we introduced assistants, which is a great way to help you achieve design consistency across your team. They can help you, for example, avoid common accessibility pitfalls. They can help you adhere to the style guidelines of the platform you're working on or the brand guidelines of the company you work for. We have some very interesting ideas on how to take assistance even further next year, but we are really pleased with the uptake that we've been seeing already. We've also last year introduced Sketch for Teams, which gave teams a centralized workspace to put all their documents in. And this is really important because it gives teams a consistent source of truth for where documents live. No longer do you have to be afraid that if you send a copy through one service to your client, one to your PM, one to a developer, that in the end everybody thinks they agreed on something while everybody's actually looking at different versions. With a central source of truth, you just know that everybody is looking at the same version. Because in the end, like such a large part of what we do as designers all day is collaboration, not just with other designers, but as I said, with other stakeholders, developers, users. And we as a distributed company feel that like even more keenly remote workflows are becoming more and more common, like only accelerated by what's been happening this year. And having that central source of truth and all the tools that you need as a design team in one place really helps. So over the last year and a half, we've really sort of really, Sketch has really grown beyond what you traditionally may have thought of as Sketch as just being the Mac app, the editor to get your designs done. Like Sketch really is now the centralized workspace for your team, where you can just like directly work in, like the Mac app, the editor can just create your documents directly in the workspace, work directly on there, and everybody else immediately has access to those files, from collaboration to commenting, playing back prototypes, developer handoff, and sharing specific documents with external stakeholders. All of this is integral in Sketch, and it all just comes with the package. To make all of this work better and more seamlessly, real-time collaboration will bring this all together nicely. The ability to just open any file in your workspace, work on it either alone or with others, and not being afraid that you're stepping on someone else's toes, that you risk losing your own work or risk losing someone else's work. With real-time collaboration in Sketch, all of this works as you would expect. We did briefly look at other ways to make collaboration easier, like we looked at developer workflows where we have an explicit branch, a commit and merge strategy, but we really wanted to focus on real-time collaboration. So you could just open a file, get to work, edit, and not be afraid that you would step on someone else's toes. And I think now I've sort of danced around the subject long enough. I'm sure you're all very curious to see what real-time collaboration really means in Sketch. So I'll just hand it over now to Glòria, who will dive into this feature in much greater detail. So Glòria, all yours.
Cool, let me try to share my screen. Can you see my desktop?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let me play this. So hello, everyone. And as Peter said, I will tell you a bit how Collab works and what were the things we've considered while building it. It took us about 1 year to build this feature, and I believe it's one of the biggest things we've built so far. I wanted to thank you for your patience as we've announced that we were going to release this feature this year. I know most of you were anxious about it. We were as well, to be honest. And thankfully, this is almost here. First of all, I wanted to give a massive thank you to all the people who's worked and contributed to this feature and made it happen. Then let's go. So when you think of real-time collaboration in any kind of tool, being it a text editor or a slides editor or some kind of tool like these ones, there are some common features that are shared across them, right? And for us, it was kind of easy to just jump ahead and build these features without giving any consideration, but we didn't want to take the defaults for granted. And we wanted to make something that fit the real needs of our users and our values as a company and as a product. First of all, we wanted to take into account all the unique capabilities that Sketch has, where most of the design work happens in the native Mac app, as Peter was saying, and we wanted to continue like that. But we also have the browser side of Sketch, right? That integrates the rest of stakeholders, and this will remain as it is, and it will be a key part in the workflow. So as we said, first of all, we are a native app, and we truly believe that a native app is the best place to design, and this is where real-time collaboration will happen. So only people who can run a Mac app will be able to collaborate to a file and do edits to it, basically as it is today. And this means that editing the file won't be possible from the browser. Only other designers, contributors in your team will be able to see and collaborate in real time with you. And by having collaboration only in the Mac app, we are also keeping that needed privacy for designers to work freely without being exposed or watched by everyone. Basically, only other designers will be able to see the real-time moves and not the rest of stakeholders. Also, you don't need to invite your colleagues in a file one by one, because all contributors in your team will have default access to all the files that are stored in the workspace. And well, of course, you can invite other people from outside your team, and they will only need to be able to run the Mac app to join you. The rest of the people involved in the process will have to wait until the designer is ready to share their designs. And they will only see the latest file once the designer creates a version on the cloud. But no one will be able to parrot the process on top of the designer's shoulders, but they will only see the versions that the designer created for them, basically. Another important thing that was given to us because we are native is the ability to work locally. Designers don't need or want always to work on a collaborative environment, right? And native allowed us to give the choice to the user. So basically, it's up to them to work locally with their files, as they can do today, of course, or collaborate with others if they want or need to. Everyone has their own unique workflows, and we really wanted to respect that. So if you don't need collaborative editing in your daily work and prefer to work locally on your computer, this feature will not affect your workflow at all. You can continue doing the exact same as you were doing till today. But if, however, you want to collaborate with other people, you will just have to store this file in your team workspace, and it will be ready for anyone to join you. Oftentimes, we do a direct relationship between collaboration and being online. And whether this is true, if you need real-time collaboration, basically exchanging edits in real time, it is also possible to work offline using Sketch. You can work on your own and only synchronize your work with other people once you are connected. And this is because the way Collab works, basically. You don't need to worry if there are network cuts or you need to jump on a flight or something and while you are working on a document. So basically, once you regain internet connection, all your edits will be uploaded to the server and they will be distributed across everyone's devices a bit, I like to say, automatically. So if the rest of the people have the file open, they will just receive your updates. And going a bit into detail of this and having read some of the questions that were submitted before the presentation, we've checked on them and we saw that there was a lot of curiosity on knowing about this offline functionality. I want to briefly tell you a bit how is that possible. So basically, every edit you do generates what we call a patch. This patch contains a specific edit. And the patches are sent to a server and then they are redistributed to everyone so that everyone's end up seeing the exact same thing. So if you're offline, all your edits will be queued in your local machine and only when you go online, they will go in the stream with the rest of the edits, with the rest of the contributors. And the way it works basically is that the latest edit will be the winner. So let's see an example. Let's say there is a blue shape and someone made it yellow while you were offline. And while you were offline, you made it red, right? So when you're online again, that shape will be red. It's a bit like a video game. It's like a fight over a shape's properties, and it can be either radius, color, position, anything. So if two people are fighting over a property, the latest edit that reaches the server will be the winner. So as we said, we are also in the browser, right? We believe that each platform has its unique strengths, and the browser side of Sketch is key in Collab. So everyone in your team and externals has access to the browser, right? They can comment, they will be able to soon annotate, and they will be able to see the latest version of a file. They can also inspect the guts of a document, as Peter was mentioning, and getting the values they need for development. And all this is for free. So if you have a team subscription, the viewers only need a free seat in the team, and there's no need to invite them to any specific file. They can inspect and explore and comment and interact with any file that is stored in the team workspace. And they will also be able to see the latest state available of that document. In the cloud, you will also be able to see if there's someone else in the document creating a new version. And you will also be able to jump right where they are and do edits with them and collaborate together on the same file. With collaboration, we are also introducing a better version control. Until now, every time a user hit Command S or file save, a version was created in the browser, right? And this was the default view on the browser, the latest version available. So if someone was sharing a link with you and you were going in that link, the default view of that design was the latest version that existed, right? And also if it was a library, this was the one that was being distributed. So whenever you were doing an edit and hitting Command S, other users would receive a notification telling them that there is a new update on the library. Because now all the documents will be live, we are introducing a new concept, saves and versions. From now on, when you hit Command Save, a new save will be created, which is just a snapshot of your work. And of course, this is not strictly needed because with Collab, all your changes are stored in the server. So all your work is saved in there. You don't need to keep hitting Command S. But in any case, we didn't want the muscle memory to get in the way. And hitting Command Save will create this snapshot. And only when you save it explicitly as a version, it will create one. What does it mean? Now, these versions that you created explicitly will be the default view on the browser, and they will also be the versions that will be distributed if they are libraries. You will be able to create a version from the Mac app, but also from the cloud. And also the external viewers now, they will just be able to see these versions that you created on purpose. They will not be able to see all the intermediate steps that took you to reach that final version. They will only see the saves if you didn't create a specific version, an implicit version for them to see. So this way, you can better control what others see while keeping a history of your steps, if you want to, or have your work in progress for your team to see before committing to an official version of a file. One of the key parts of Collab, something that was very, very important to us, is privacy. So as Peter was saying before, at Sketch, we are a fully distributed company, right? We have colleagues that work in many different time zones, and oftentimes we don't even have overlap time with them. One of our core values at Sketch is the trust in our colleagues. No one is controlling how many hours you worked, if you were offline, if you were online, if you wrote that many lines of code, created that many sketch files or GitHub issues or anything like that. I mean, we don't even care how many vacation days you took, right? In Sketch, we just trust people. We trust our colleagues. We truly think this kind of metrics, like lines of codes, commits made, blah, blah, shapes created, they should not be used as evaluation tools, never. And honestly, we can't care less about them. What's important when you evaluate each other's work is the end result, right? And not how you got there. Each person has its own processes. And these metrics might be quite dangerous when it comes to employee evaluation, right? Because we stand by our values and we always try to translate them into our products and the stuff we build, privacy was a very, very important piece in Collab. When you start working on a collaborative tool, like it was our case, you suddenly are forced to track somehow what others do, right? Because you just need this information. You need it to be able to transfer it from one computer to the other. It needs to transfer through your servers and so on. Like cursor position, a selection, what people is doing. And it's kind of easy to fall into the trap of tracking all this information and using it for something else. And this something else might easily fall into surveillance mode, which is something we truly dislike. And there is a fine line in here, right? And this was a very big red flag for us, a line we didn't want to cross. We didn't want to cross it, and we didn't want to allow others to cross it by using our product. So it is very important to us that designers have a safe space to work. A Sketch is meant to help designers to design and to unleash their creativity, right? And this has nothing to do with being monitored or judged. The problem we wanted to solve was the fact that several designers should be able to work on the same file without stepping on each other's toes, right? And this was our focus since the very beginning. We could have easily been distracted by all the technology that's out there, and we could easily use somehow, but we were very aware about what our focus was. And using unneeded data from designers wasn't part of the plan in any point. Because of that, we are not monitoring, tracking, or analyzing any of your edits. We won't generate analytic dashboards for anyone to look at. We will not create rankings or weird metrics around activity. So basically, once we transfer your mouse position to another computer, this information is automatically deleted from our servers. We don't keep or store any history of your moves. Only the information that is 100% needed is the one that we will be storing. For example, the edits you've done, the patches you've sent. But this information, we need it just to be able to create a version of your file, right? And it won't be displayed anywhere. Tracking users' activity is very different than tracking a library usage, for example, which is something that we are interested into. How many times a symbol was used or detached. In here, the analysis, it's focused on a design artifact and not the people who's using the tool, right? This is the part where we have zero interest, basically. So as I said, we won't make business out of users' activity, and we just want to focus on solving the designer needs. And this is why privacy was so important to us. So as Dr. Ian Malcolm said in Jurassic Park, oftentimes we are more concerned in proving that we can build something just because we can, than actually thinking if we should build it this way or display certain information just because it's there. I mean, we could use it, right? But for us, this was a constant concern we've had, and we keep questioning if we should show certain information or not whenever we take this design decisions. And we love real time for sure. That's why we are here, right? During the development of Collab, we've talked to lots of users. Thanks to our research colleagues, we've done so many interviews, looked at the market, but we've mostly listened ourselves because we are designers also, and you. And it was funny because everyone said, yeah, real-time collaboration is 100% needed, and everyone loves it, and we love it too, for sure. I mean, we find it super exciting and useful. But there was a common pattern that was being repeated again and again. And it's the fact that real-time can be annoying too. So we've heard many times that feeling and being watched by managers and external people to the team produces anxiety, and we didn't want that. We've also heard and experienced ourselves that we all need time to focus and to zone out, and seeing objects floating around and cursors, moving animations, sounds, and so on can take you very easily out of your safe space and get easily distracted, right? So in summary, real-time collaboration can be overwhelming too. So we've taken some steps in order to minimize this. Some of the stuff we've taken into account is the moves. So we've minimized the moves that you will see from others. Cursors and selections for sure will be in real time because this makes sense for them to be, right? I mean, they are useful for presenting stuff or for following your colleagues' work, and they make sense for them to be real time. But honestly, there's no point of seeing an object flying around your screen while it's being dragged. What's the value of that besides getting you distracted, right? Or seeing how an object is changing its color, like if it were a chameleon, like trying to mingle with the surface, just because someone is dragging a color wheel somewhere. These are the kind of things that we didn't consider being key during the collaboration workflow. And so that we decided that only when the designer is finalized editing an object, you will see a property, you will see the end result. And of course, we could have added animation and sounds. As in Jurassic Park, we know how to do that. But we thought it was adding noise to the experience, right? It wasn't helping users to the opposite. Also, the fact that not every single stakeholder can join a design session because they need to be contributors of your team and have a markup minimizes the anxiety of feeling watched. So there's no way now of having someone monitoring your canvas while you work, making you feel uncomfortable, unless they own, of course, a markup and a sketch license. We are also adding very shortly the ability to configure these features so that they match your needs, so that you can get rid of cursors names or whatever makes you have a better experience while designing. And this is also something that we aim to keep learning during beta and the future versions. And this is why it's so important for us to get your feedback. And this is also why we are having a beta period, right? Because we really want to polish the experience in a way that really matches your needs. And it is so important that you give us feedback about these kind of things. And that being said, I told you, I think, quite a lot of how Collab works. But I guess that seeing it in action is better than me talking and talking about how we came up with this solution. So I believe we could go on with a little demo. And I just want to make a small disclaimer here. We will be showing you a build that is the latest. And like in all demos, it might fail. Let's hope not. We will try to recover from the situation if that happens. So please bear with us and let's see how it goes. And we will show you a bit some use cases, and then Peter will tell you a bit more about how and when it will be available to you. Okay. So now I'm going to stop sharing this keynote presentation. And I'm going to show with you my browser. Can you see it? Yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Excellent. So for the ones who are not familiar with the browser side of Sketch, this is how it looks like when I belong to a team. My team's name is Monday Studio, and these are all the files we've worked together lately. And in here we have our projects, and in each project you can have more files that you are sharing with all your team. And if we go in here in the team composition, just for you to see it, you can see that we are 27 members in this team, and that we have 18 contributors. So these are the people who can join a real-time collaboration session, but can also edit any file that's in here. And we also have 9 viewers. These viewers, they are for free. You can add as many as you want. There's no limit. You can add your entire company in here. I don't know if you want to, but you can. And basically, these people can explore the files, can access handoff, get all the properties, they can comment. They will be able to annotate very, very soon and do other cool stuff with the files, but they won't be able basically to follow your real-time moves on a file. So now I will show you a bit the flow that I would go through if I want to start a real-time collaboration file. So this is my Sketch app, and in here I have all the files that belong to Monday Studio, which is as you see, it matches what we have in the browser and what you have in the Mac app. I can see both. I can open it from the web or I can open it from the app. And I will just create a new file, and I will just pretend I'm going to create an app. That it will be an iPhone app, and it will be for an app for traveling. I will just create here an awesome wireframe. Sorry for that, but it's fine because now my colleagues will join you and they will fix it. So that's the cool thing. Okay, so what I need to do now is to save the file. And I can just save it in my workspace, my team's workspace, which is Monday Studio. And I can choose the project I want to save it in Start Portfolio, and I will call it Travel App. Save. And now in here, you see that a version was created, and I can see my face because this file is already live on the cloud. And it's ready for any of my team colleagues to join me and to start working with me. How can, Francesco was super fast. So how can I get someone in this file? As you saw, Francesco didn't have a link or anything, and he just saw it in the cloud and decided to join me, right? But I can also copy the link to the file, and I will share it in a chat we have. Let me see if I find it here. I'm sharing the link with the rest of my colleagues. And now, hopefully, you will see them joining my team. In here, you see Francesco. And now we have also Sam who joined. And you can see that each of us is having a different color assigned. And this color is matching the cursor and the selection they are having. As you can see, this is not, we didn't reinvent the wheel, right? It all makes sense. This is what you would expect from a collab app. And a sentence I really liked from a user test we've done is a user was telling us, this is great, I feel like home. And this is the best thing that someone can tell you, right? For a product that you are working on. So yeah, so in here you can see my colleagues are already fixing my beautiful first designs. Yeah. And in here, I can see if they are active or idle, if they left for a coffee or something. After 5 minutes of without having any activity, they will be flagged as away. I can also see here that any contributor in my Monday Studio team can join this document. I could also go to manage share settings in the cloud, and in here is where I would be able to invite someone who doesn't have a team, that they just have a normal cloud account. I would be able to invite them to join my file and work with me in this file, just because I have a team subscription, right? Cool, so in here, I don't know if you are making it better, guys. I mean, yeah, you should see our test files we have internally. They are pure beauty. So basically, as we were saying, this is a fight over an object. If I now try to grab this shape, and see Sam is so close to me, he might override my files. But if I start dragging this shape here, and Sam decides to take over it and to do something to it, like changing color, as you see, we are both able to edit the same object at the same time, and both changes are applied. I'm changing position and he's changing the color. And I can also see that he has a selection here in this shape, because I see the orange outline that is the same as Sam has. Okay, so now let's say I will create a new page, because I need to work on something a bit different, and I don't need to be there with the rest of people. And I will just create a settings page. Settings, pretty. I'm creating a settings page. And now I feel the urge to see what my other colleagues are doing. So in this case, I will just grab Sam in here. And if I click on his avatar, I can jump straight where he is, his exact position. And I can just, even if he's in a different page, right? I can just jump to his position and follow his moves if I need to. And now that you see lots of stuff happening, let's say I do an edit. Some of the questions were also asking about this, so I'd like to show it to you live. So now I did an edit, and some colleagues are doing other edits right at the same time. If I just regret having done this shape, I can just hit Command Z. And this is one question that we got a lot. What happens if I undo my action? So basically, if I undo my action, I just undo my changes, because they are all on my stream, right? I would not undo anybody else changes, because undo only affects to the work I'm doing. So that way I won't destroy anything else that someone created. And something cool is also that if I now go to the insert menu for symbols, and if somebody creates a symbol, I will just see them appearing in here live, as you can see. Now Francesco created this label button, and I can just use it, and that's it. So basically everything happens quite fast. And yeah, that's it. And I think this file is looking pretty good. Well, no, that's okay, it's a demo, so let's be patient. And now if I go here in the cloud, you can see that there's none of the changes we've done is reflected in here. And this is because no one created a version. So no one can see, so this is my first version I created when I saved the file. So no one can see what we're doing right now. They can see we are working on it, but they cannot see what's going on in that file, unless I decide that I'm ready to share this, and then I decide to create a version. As we said, I didn't have time to show you, but as we said, you don't need to hit Command S, Command S, Command S, Command S to make sure. I mean, we know we are all a bit paranoid with this, and we want to save everything we do, but you really don't need to. And yeah, and basically, we are keeping all the saves for you in the server. And now a version will be created on the cloud. As you can see in here, I hit two times, so I created two versions, sorry about that. But in here, you can see that now my version is ready to be shared, sort of. So, okay, so that was fast. So our CEO already saw the design, and here, okay, the logo bigger, and we can do better. Okay, thank God he's not seeing what we're doing in real time. So now I think he's right, and we could do a bit better. So I will just open a file where we have this app a bit in a better shape. So this was just a file for the demo. So if I go here and open a file, you can see that our latest version is here, so that anyone can open it because I created a version. And let's see if we can make the logo bigger because Peter wants it bigger. I will just open the travel app and I will see if I can. Okay, so everyone's here. Everyone's here, but I don't see anyone. So sorry about that. I think it might have crashed. Let me check where. Okay, where? Oh, okay. So I hit on their head and apparently they are not up for demo, guys. Go back to the main file. Sorry, yeah, go please. I need to show more stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to, thank you very much. Okay, so in here you can see that there are some fonts that I don't have installed at all. They are custom fonts. But just when someone is using a font that it's a custom font, basically that they have installed on their computers, they can just install it, they can just embed it in the sketch file and it will be ready for anyone to use it. Sorry, I think, yeah. So it will be ready for anyone to use it just the very same moment. So that once the font is embedded, anyone can use that font in that document. And I don't know if I'm missing something. I hope not, like the basics, Collab 101. So I will just hand it over to Peter for him to tell you a bit more on when will it be ready and how. Let me do this. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Glòria, for the beta. Sorry, for the demo. Sorry. I think we've all been able to get a little bit of an idea of what live collaboration means in Sketch. I hope you like it. Just in case you're curious, when can I start playing with this? You can see it already on the slide. Sketch.com/beta. We'll have beta up there before Christmas. It's a limited beta in a way that anyone can get the beta, but you need to be a subscriber to a team. You need to have a team workspace already to be able to collaborate. The final version of this next update of Sketch with live collaboration will come out in the new year, and the beta, and we will open it up to more people. But the beta for now is limited to people on a team subscription. With that, I think we can move on to the Q&A.
Yes. As I said in the introduction part, yes, we will keep seeing our designers work on the project. In the meantime, we answer questions. As I said in the beginning, we gathered questions already beforehand and we want to answer all of them. I will be going over one by one and I'll try to answer some questions from the chat as well, but it has been going wild so far, so thank you for that. So I'm going to start with the first question. How many collaborators can be in a file at once?
Well, there's no limit, basically. That's the cool thing. You can have as many people as you want. We haven't reached a limit, so yeah, there's no limit.
Thank you for that. And the second question is, can we limit who has access to editing versus viewing and add or remove as needed?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So that the moment, as Glòria explained, Those who can edit versus those who can view it's defined on the team level. Glòria showed we have viewers and contributors. The moment anyone who is a contributor has access to the markup, to the editor, can therefore edit the file. If you're just a viewer, like as I was in the demo, you have to wait until an explicit version is created, and then you can see that in the browser. More specific permissions are coming very, very soon. Very soon we'll have the ability to invite individual people from outside your team to live collaborate on the file with you, and more permissions of that kind are coming next year.
Thank you, Peter. Moving on with the next question. Will the first release include on-canvas commenting?
The first release does not include that. As you saw, we already have commenting. You can comment on any artboard in a file with specific annotation on a specific location within the file. Something we are working on at the moment. We don't have it yet, but it will definitely be coming soon in the new year.
And a funny question to move on with. What if collaborators edit the same item at the same time?
So basically, I think we saw it in the demo a bit. The latest edit will win, only if they are fighting over the same property. So that if I set rounded corner 8 pixels and someone sets 10 pixels and we just do it at the very same time, the latest edit that hits the server will be the one that will win. If it's mine, it will be 8. But if we are editing different properties, they can just work simultaneously and both will be applied.
And moving on, thank you for the answer. Is there a way to see who edited what and when?
Yeah, so this is something we talked about during the presentation. Like, of course, we're sending these edits to the server so that we can redistribute them to the other people in the team, but we're not preserving these in the long term. But the only thing that you can see when you go to the browser and browse the different versions are the people that created these specific saves and versions. You can't go back and see who edited which file when, who contributed the most patches to this document. We don't believe that this is the kind of information that is useful to expose, and it's not something that we should preserve in the long term.
Okay, I will take one question from the chat. Would we be able to link to a specific version? For example, if we wanted to hand over a version of a design for build, but then continue to work on it.
Yes, I can. Sorry, I can take that one. Yes, the answer is yes. Like the version, there is a unique URL for each document, and there's a unique URL for each save and each version within document. So this allows you to share a very specific version. As Glòria explained, on top of that, whenever you hit save command S, we create a save, but you can promote a save to be like an explicit version. Those versions are the ones that show up if you just share the document with an external stakeholder. So you can very clearly mark, like, this is the version you should be looking at, while you internally continue to edit and save as often as you want. If you have marked something as an explicit version, this is the one that external stakeholders will see.
Thank you. Moving on, we still have a couple of more questions to go. How are user rights handled, as in inviting an external designer, but preventing them from downloading sources? Is there a way to give particular users more or less rights?
Yes, this is an existing feature within a team or a workspace. You can invite individual people to individual files that you have saved within your workspace, and you can specify whether they can comment or whether they can use developer handoff inspect, or whether they can download the file. Depending on the kind of person that you're sharing with, you can set up these per permissions, and that they can do exactly what you want them to do in the file. So yes, this is already an existing feature, and this will carry over nicely for any file with live collaboration.
Moving on, thank you, Peter. Does the mouse cursor stay on the canvas, or can we follow someone's mouse around the inspector panels?
No, the mouse stays on the canvas, so that you will not see people's cursors over your inspector, because I mean, I guess it's doable, but it might be a bit messy, right? Because if I'm inspecting an element, but I see the cursor of someone else on top of it, it might be a bit confusing, if I got the question right. So the cursors are limited to the canvas. Yeah.
And what about custom fonts? How does this handle custom fonts only available on one machine?
Yeah, this is, I think it also appeared on the demo, right? That basically the first time someone embeds the font in the file, it's available for anyone to use. And it will also produce nicer cloud documents, because the font will be embedded in there, so that the preview of the file will look properly, because it's there.
And I'll ask this to you as well. Again, Glòria, is there a way to specify versions?
Sorry, what do you mean, like, specify a version? Like
I think this was like the question Peter answered before.
I think we can consider this question already answered. Yes, you can create specific versions that are like a marker with the document. Like this is now ready.
Yeah, and then they will have their unique link and so on. So that,
yeah,
I guess the answer is yes.
How will real-time collaboration affect public access to files?
I think this is similar to what we just discussed. Like as I said, you can share individual documents with people outside your workspace, and everything just works as you would expect. We'll just have a new right that you can give, like, do you want this person to also be able to edit the document? So we have comment and inspect, but also edit. If you give them edit rights, even if they're not like in your team as a whole, they can collaborate on the document with you. If you don't give them that right, then of course you can't.
Thank you. Moving on. Is a sketch account needed for project members like project managers that only need to comment and not to edit?
Yes, this is, as Glòria showed earlier in the demo, we have viewers and contributors. Anyone who is a viewer can see all the files within the workspace through the browser. They can comment, they can play back prototypes. Anything through the browser they can do. These viewers, they can create a sketch account completely for free. They can be invited to the team completely for free. Nobody is paying for these people anywhere. All the access through the browser is free. It's only when you want to edit files through our Mac app that you need to be a contributor, and that automatically gives you access to the Mac app for just $9 a month.
And I won a question about who wins over who. Can a user delete something but another user Command Z that deletion? Are the histories local to the user in this case?
No. The undo, the Command Z is based on your changes, so that whenever I undo something, I undo one of my changes. I cannot undo what other people is doing. So it separates streams.
Okay, thank you. And another one, how are offline or intermittent connections handled?
I think this was more or less covered in the presentation. I mean, worth repeating, but basically when you don't have internet connection, being it's just for a temporary moment or because you are working offline, your changes are stored in your machine and they form like a queue of changes. And then once you're online, they just go all up in the server. And if at the same time there's other people editing, you will be fighting with them to get your edits applied. But if no one is there, they will just go in and get merged with the rest. So everything should be fine, unless, for example, you made a change to an object that doesn't exist anymore. Then of course your change will not be applied because the object is not there.
Thank you. I'll take another question from the chat. Will there be any tier for editors like designer or copywriter? Will there be any tiers in the teams?
We might be introducing more tiers in the future, but as I explained, now you have viewers and editors. And if you want to be able to edit the sketch, the document, you need to be contributor that comes automatically with a sketch license, so you don't need to. It's not an extra charge or anything. If you need access to the Mac this gives you that. If you don't, then a viewer. As I said, other tiers maybe in the future, but for now, this is the setup.
Thank you. An insightful question. With real-time collaboration, more ways of keeping communicated opens up. The platform now moves to a more communication tool. What is your product roadmap in regards to this topic?
Right. I've talked about developer handoff earlier and how we have plans to improve that. And we've talked about annotations, like taking comments to the next step, so that you can specifically comment on a specific point within a specific artwork. Things like that to make the communication easier. There's a lot of things that we can do beyond sort of this very first version of collaboration. And we will be doing all of those and more. But so I would say, although I think we met like most of the goals that we set for ourselves this year turned into something completely different than most of us had expected. And then Apple threw like a new processor architecture and then a complete redesign. So I don't want to announce too many things too far in ahead, because life has a funny way of changing your priorities at unexpected moments.
Indeed, no one saw 2020 coming. I'll take another question. If there are two collaborators on the same file and one goes offline, how are conflicting changes resolved once both collaborators are back online? I think we covered this in the presentation a little bit, but wouldn't hurt to hear it once more.
Yeah, so basically, if they are both online, they will both start from the same state, right? Because they are both seeing the same thing. And then the user that goes offline will somehow branch into some other changes. The online one will keep submitting changes in the server, so that they will be winning because they are the ones sending changes to the server. And once the offline user reconnects, all their changes will go up. And because the timestamp will be newer than the other changes, the offline user will win over some of the properties that the online user did. Some of them, not all.
Thank you. I think we have time for just one or two more questions. I'll take another one from the chat. If I close my work after an hour and don't press Command S or create a version, how do I access my most recent work?
You just open the file with the SketchUp and all your changes will be there. Or I mean, you or anyone. That's the beauty also, no? That because maybe I didn't hit Command Save, I just left my computer, went on vacation in Bahama, but then some of my colleagues need to access my changes. And because they are on the server, when they open the file, they will just receive all the stream of changes and they will have my work, even if I've never committed Command S, save the file, and I'm on vacation having great holiday, right? So the work is never lost.
Indeed, indeed. If you open a file in the Mac, we always get the very latest things with every save, every patch, everything applied.
Thank you. I think we can take one more. This is a really wondered question. How will this next feature affect plugins? Will there be any conflicts or such? I think Peter can take this one.
Yeah, sure. Plugins that operate sort of within the document should not require like much in any updating. Like as you can see, the UI hasn't changed much. The document structure behind the scenes hasn't changed much. Like we've been working on preparing this for a very long time. So if you have a plugin that works inside Sketch at the moment, there's no reason why it couldn't continue to work with maybe some minor adjustments, but not more than that.
Thank you. And I'll take one last question before we hang up, because this is a sensitive one. If individual users' changes are not tracked, what if a malicious employee goes into a file and deletes a lot of valuable work and then quits? Are those changes lost?
No, they are not, because the changes, so we don't store information about users. So this person moved 10 times the cursor in the last 3 minutes, no? Like we don't track this kind of information, but of course the edits, we have to track them because there's the only way we have to create versions, right? So that you could easily revert to a previous version of that file, and all the patches that this evil person removed will be back on track, and the file will be restored. So
yeah, no, indeed. When we saw earlier during the demo, when Glòria showed when the save showed up in the browser, you could see a timeline of versions. Yeah, you could see the timeline of versions and saves that had been created. So if something was for some reason is messed up with the latest version, you can always delete that version, or like download another version and pick some elements from that. Like it's all saved online in your workspace, so we've got your back on that one.
That's really good to know. And sadly, that was the last question. Thank you, Glòria, for the amazing presentation. Thank you, Peter, for the lovely presentation as well. And let's not forget Nico, Francesco, and Sam's lovely edits on the file. I think it's looking great, decent now. Yeah, I think Peter will approve this time, probably. Yep. So this was the real-time collaboration preview we've been so excited to share. And thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to be back with you with more events, and see you on the next one.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Goodbye, and keep an eye out for the beta landing very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.